Okay. Said you had a question, Beth.
There's a couple, and you can determine if these are insulting to ask.
That might explain the person that showed up.
Uh-oh. Is that our loudmouth or our chatterer?
No.
The boozer?
This is
I like him.
this is a female.
Okay, one that came across yesterday, I think it popped into my head, is if they could share with us what we can expect in this current astrological age, because it seems like we're going backwards. You know, the age of Aquarius is supposed to be enlightenment, and the Piscean age was all about money, power, hierarchy, and it just seems like
May not
if they're
like,
able to share any insights,
may not like what you get.
well, I don't know, would you all want to hear something like that? I don't know if that would be insulting, or if they're thinking, when am I gonna meet my next true love? I mean, does it fall in that?
They've been dropping hints for quite a while.
Okay, and the second one that I had just today was, they're out there, they're like either in a big council group, or they're, healers, or they're teachers, or they're guides, and it's like, how is it chosen? How do we get to choose what we want to do? I mean, do they have to progress to a certain level of vibration to become a teacher, a spiritual teacher? To come and teach us, or a healer
Right.
on that side? And it's
Okay.
like, what do I need to do?
How do you
You
get
know,
to that? Yeah.
Do I get to be a guide? Do I, someone's guide? Or do we get to choose if we're gonna be a big, like a nation's guide? I don't know what words to,
I know what you're talking about.
can you say it better?
I don't know if I can, it's almost like a rank. It's almost like what's your rank, and do you have to start a private?
Rank name service.
Exactly. You know what I thought of was Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life. He's angel second class, remember? I think I was him, and I'm like, what's the rank? So you have to achieve a certain rank and going up the ladder. And that's that's kind of what I thought of as a symbol of that, but I don't know.
Okay. Does anybody else have any thoughts?
Does anybody else have better questions?
I think that's a good question, because it probably is somewhat determined by what you bring to the table, what your life experience was, and what you are, or where you tend to gravitate to in your own journey of, do you want to be a healer? Is a healer in your, do you feel, are you qualified to be a guide? I guess that's the same kind of question, So I have a feeling it's going to be kind of where your mindset is, and where you're.
Well, now that you've answered that question,
We could get verification
Yeah, maybe.
or clarification. Or you people make things so difficult.
Yeah, right, so complicated.
I think that way.
I suppose not, I don't know.
well, focus on something. So what was your question here? Rank and such? How do you become a guide? Well, you were on the right track, sweetie. It is based on your
experience and what you've learned. Not everyone who comes here, who moves to the other side, can be a guide because they have not learned enough. Too many of the people here are too caught up in themselves. Too caught up in themselves. And because of that, they don't care what's going on. All you have to do is ask anyone who is close by you, and they will tell you, oh, I just mind my own business. I don't care what they do. They have no interest. You want to be a guide? You have to be interested in other people. It's very short and simple. Now, the next part of your question, sweetie, is going to be the ranking. How is that done? And yes, there's a rank. If there is no rank, how do you know where you stand in anything? And we all like to know where we stand with others, particularly those we are involved with. Where do we stand? It's more than just a human thing. It's just one of those characteristics. And we carry that with us, believe it or not. We don't just stop thinking the way we think here. Oh no, it keeps on. We think the same way until we change the way we think. Now, those who are on high, I don't know what they're like. But the rest of us, yes, we have a rank. I like that third class angel though. That was so cute. Of course, that's not what we have. No, we don't have that. It's all got to do with your thinking, or as you quaintly put it, your vibration. Too many of you, even though you sit here in these classes, you sit in these other classes and these other facilities where we come in and all the others come in, because it's not just us who have moved on from here that come in and teach. Oh no, there are so many others out there, darling, and they just pop in. Although some of them have some fun. Oh, you wouldn't believe how gullible you people are. We don't need TV for entertainment like you do. And like we had when I was here. Oh, Milton Berle and the rest. Oh, yes. But now that's not going to answer your question, though, is it? So, yes, we do have ranks, and certain people are just drawn to others. Now, typically, I wouldn't be drawn to this one here because he's, I don't know where he's at. But you, oh yes, especially this one over here, she's finally figuring it out. Oh, it's just so much fun, isn't it?
You talking about Sandy?
No,
You.
gee. A woman shows up and everything goes out the window, just like it's always been.
I'm
Some
sorry.
things never change, does it? Although I have to admit, it is a bit strange in this male body here. But anyway, fortunately, I don't get to feel everything else. Just what I've got that I need. It's so embarrassing. But typically, sometimes we have these groups, and what is there is always going to be based on your perception. You like groups, if you're a group type person, if you like to get out and hang out with people, you have soul groups then, because you just fit in so well. And those of you with soul groups, you've got your little levels within, even within your little groups here that you get together with. Everybody's got their own little position You can only have one leader, you can only have one second, you can only, everybody has their roles. And it's just the same over there. Everyone has their roles. The nice thing is, over there, we just step in where it's needed. We don't need to be told. Down here, it's all, oh, don't do anything until you're told to. Just be quiet. Women are supposed to be seen, not heard. Children are supposed to be seen, not heard. Oh, it's just such a man's world. This one's getting a little uncomfortable. But I thought it would be so cute. If before he gets a little upset. It's a toodaloo.
Thank you.
So what'd you think about her, huh? You think I'm chatty? You should get together with her.
It's fun.
So, as to your question there, yes, we do have our little ranks and everything, but they're not like they are here. Here, you have all this stuff that allows you to be promoted. And when you're on the other side, it's got nothing to do with your accomplishments or anything for a promotion. You are automatically moved to a different level or a different rank, as you like to put it, as your perspective changes. So we don't have it like you do, but it's there. And the only reason it's there is because it makes it easier for all of you to understand. If we were to say there is nothing like that, none of you would be able to understand it. Am I correct?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
when it's like that here, it's chaos. Well, so you always have to have someone in charge to delegate. And so we tell you that there's someone on the other side that's in charge that delegates. Sometimes we use the term God because it sits so well with you, especially the early timers. It was always God this, God that, God. It was always about God. So we just put it that way. Even when I was alive, they just put it that way. And I wasn't into all that stuff, remember? So, and your other question, I am going to let someone, well, before I do that, are there any questions from any of you?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
What do you guys all do in your off time? Do you have like a spirit pub you hang out in and tell stories about your people or what?
Some of us do. That's a really good question. Because the way it's always explained to all of you is there's always someone walking right next to you, always, always. And I've got better things to do than walk alongside this one here and see all this mundane, droll stuff. Who wants to see all that? No, in our off times, we are continuing with our study. Some of us continue with our study. Some of us hang out in the bar, chit chat. All the stuff that was here is on the other side. Because you have a lot of people here who never make it out of the bar. You know what I mean? Unless, of course, you're like me, you get drug out. And that's so undignified. Thank God my brother was there. But we carry on with those habits. Those habits continue with us. And until we develop new habits, we go through it. Now, those of you who don't go anywhere, well, all I can say is you better build a pretty good, interesting mansion to keep yourself occupied. Because you got to go out sometimes, just like here, you got to go out sometimes. So, did that answer your question?
Yes.
She's in the-
Oh, where'd she go?
She's there in the middle.
I guess not. So maybe I didn't understand the question.
She got called away.
Oh, are they frozen? Sandy, are you frozen?
No, she's there.
No, she's
Oh,
there.
there she
No,
is.
I was just, no,
Bonnie, there's-
yeah, you answered it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm never sure. You know, we all think so differently. You think we all think alike. You think that once we get on the other side, well, now we're somebody's guardian angel and we got to constantly look out for them. Da 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 da. Oh, might as well pay you for that. Now there's a good question. Do you have money on the other side? No, we don't have money on the other side. We have flowers on the other side. Or as your friend would put it, stuff.
George.
Careful now, careful now. You don't want him popping in
Okay,
because
okay.
oh. All right, somebody ask a question quick.
What were you talking about?
Can you share with us what to expect in this current astrological age?
Ooh,
Are you able, or is that?
I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not,
How
but I know someone who is.
come? Who?
Well, we don't use names. Names are for you. Why would we want to use names on the other side? Because when we come back, what's the first thing you do? You call us something different. The first few months of being here, it's like, who? That's not me. And then we finally give up. So, okay.
What's their position over there?
Position?
Yeah,
Let's just say I hurt my neck sometimes when I'm looking for them.
I see.
Aquarius. That's the one who pours the water out. Am I correct?
yes.
Yes. Why do you think Aquarius is pouring the water out of the urn? What happens when you pour water out of a vessel?
You empty it?
You empty it. Why do you empty it?
To make room for more?
To make room for more. This urn has been around for a very long time. What is at the bottom of this urn?
I don't know. Here on Earth, it's caked in lime and calcium and minerals and
Crap.
Debris,
moss.
debris, yeah.
You have all that crap at the bottom of that urn. What do you have to do to that urn before you can refill it?
Clean it out.
Precisely. You have to scrape all that muck up and get it out. And then you have to soak it. And then you have to clean it again. It's a process. Yes,
Yes.
we're going through a process. Do you want to know how you got to this point?
Yes.
Your previous speaker told you. Involved. This one is.
over here is. The rest of you are not involved. Do you know what happens when you're not involved in something?
It passes you by.
No, it doesn't pass you by. It carries you along with it in its wake.
Hmm.
So you're just carried along. Because you're not part of the ones in the front guiding it. So many of you prefer to remain where you are. Prefer to remain where you are. What is it that nature does to you?
Stagnant.
Stagnant.
Mhm.
What in nature does not move?
There's nothing.
What do you mean?
There's always movement. There's always cycles.
Exactly. There's always movement. So if you do nothing, nature is going to drag you along anyway. So if you're going to get drug along, wouldn't you prefer to know where it is that you're being dragged to?
Mhm.
And how do you do that?
Being in front.
By being involved. Now you are looking for particulars because that's just the way you think.
Yes.
We have given you some of the particulars already. Got it?
Must have.
So we are not going to pursue this anymore because not all of you are in agreement. Are there any other questions? Do we have more time?
I think so.
Yes.
Then we shall pursue with what he presented to us. And to continue to pursue your response would only increase the difficulties, the conflicts.
Okay, I understand
So
that.
the purpose of religion, religion has no purpose. Did not bring this concept to you. Religion formed of something else. Your spiritual teachers that many of you venerate even now. Do you recall their beginnings? Do you recall how they were called to service? Somebody knows. You were all versed in your respective religions long before you abandoned them. They had visions. They heard voices. They had experiences that were so profound that they were obligated. They did not feel obligated. They were obligated. They were told, teach this to others. Because not everybody can hear, not everybody listens, not everybody is interested. It starts out with a few, and then it increases. But before it can increase, it must be perverted. And it is through this perversion that someone has a vision different than the first, similar to the first, but it's their own. And again, they are commanded to teach the people. And again, it is perverted. And it is only through these perversions that this is progressed. Is it religion? I would assume that it is dependent on how you define religion. When I walked this plane, it was not religion. It was the way. And we taught the way. We taught the way to those who were no longer satisfied with their way. Not all of you have visions. Of course, now they train you to have these visions. And even so, these visions that some of you may have are perverted. It's not your fault. You were conditioned, you were taught to be in a certain way, to do in a certain way. And because you have done things in this certain way, you had this experience, and being in that certain way, you do not know what to do because that certain way does not allow what you experienced to exist. The term you use today is spiritual, and it is a proper term to use than all of these other terms that are used by the others, because spirit in its purest sense is life. And there is only one life, but there are many aspects to that one life. There is the aspect to that one life that you are experiencing now. There is the aspect of that one life that many of you are aspiring towards. And then there is the aspect of that life that you inquired about earlier. The sages. They are not chosen. They become what they are through their experiences, through the lessons that they have learned, and through their desire to share this information that they have gathered with those so that others can surpass them. Now, we come to this question that you had asked. Surpass. Surpass is to become better. But better at what? Because where we dwell, there is no such thing as these labels that you use, good and evil. There is no such thing as that. There is life and only life. What is it that life must have in order for life to continue? You must have these experiences that you are questioning now, that you seek to avoid. If you avoid these experiences, you know nothing. You cannot become a guide, a teacher. You can become one of those that, how did one of you put it, sits in the bar gossiping. You want to become more than what you are? You have to act more than what you are. You want to be better? You must act better. Before you can act better, you must realize what it is that you are doing that is not good. But whom is it not good for? Our actions, they annoy other people, and that's it. No matter what you do, your actions annoy other people. The only one who benefits or does not benefit from your actions are yourselves. Who determines if you are acting poorly? Not the person that you treated poorly, but you. You make that choice that, oh, I was poorly mistreating that person. I must make amends. That person will have already forgotten you. You will go to that person and apologize to that person, and they will look at you stupefied. Why? Because they've already forgotten you. See how much of an impression you made? They have forgotten you. You worry about being forgotten? You want to be remembered? Do for people as you would prefer they do for you. They remember that. They may not remember your name, but they will remember you. Those people who do horrible things that you call, do you know how they are remembered? Do you know why they are remembered? Because of your history books. Do you know why you make things so complicated for yourselves? Do you know why you prefer it to be like that?
Because we cannot imagine it would be easy.
Oh,
We
but you
can't fathom
can.
it.
You can't imagine that it would be easy. But you don't believe it. You don't believe it. You believe in all this doom and gloom that is happening. You believe it. You point to your history books and say, here, see, it has happened. So what? It rained last week. It will probably rain next week. Who cares? Rain is necessary. What you are experiencing is necessary. Does not mean you have to wallow in it. Do you know why people suffer so much? Because they enjoy it. If they did not enjoy it, why would they continue to suffer? Do you understand?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to.
What are you having difficulties understanding?
Words, but it's like you said, the conditioning, um. That I experienced. Just put a damper on anything. That was, okay, I'm gonna call it spiritual. As a child, it was magical. That happened to me and I tried to share with others, and it was just the poo-poo effect, as I call it. It was dampened, it was denigrated, it was tossed away as
It's
unimportant.
much easier to blame others than it is to blame yourself.
That is true. You don't know that as a child, though.
We have all of these excuses, but you're an adult, and yet you cling to that. We have all of these excuses. Who is responsible for the experiences in your life?
Just me.
Just you. How do you change an experience that you have had?
Look at it from a different perspective.
Precisely. Precisely. You want your suffering to end? Look at what is happening to you from a different perspective. Think of it not as suffering. Think of it as opportunity. Do not think of it as, oh, what lesson am I supposed to learn here? Think of it as, I did this to myself. Because I did this to myself, I can change it. You know why everything is a lesson? Because you prefer it that way. You prefer the clouds over the sun. You prefer ignorance over knowledge because it's so much easier to be ignorant. And knowledge takes so much work. You want to get to the higher planes? Do your work. You want to be a guide? Do your work. You want to be a good person? See yourself as being a good person. Because you are exactly what you say you are. Of course, I'm being a bit harsh, so I apologize. Do as this one does. poke fun at yourself. Other people will enjoy the laughter with you, and you will have gained a measure of understanding. You are exactly where you wish to be. The thing you can do for yourself is to look out the window periodically to see where you are at. And if you do not like where you are at, if you do not know how to change direction, there's always someone who can guide you. And they do not have to be like us. You come to this dwelling for guidance. This one has guided you well. There are others that will guide you well. But who determines if the guidance is worthy or not? You do. Is this all helpful for you?
Yes, very much, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Are there any questions? To share something. I don't do this normally in my classes, but this one does. And it seems to appeal to you. Mind, because you will be getting the opportunity. We must go now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Whoever that was, they walked out doing this.
No. No. Oh, boy.
So, well, it could just be amusing. Yeah. All right, so let me see here. Rachel looks like she has an opportunity, so I will start with her. What are your thoughts and comments?
Well, it reminds me of channeling from this lady that I listened to on a podcast. You had a different voice, and that's what reminded me of it. It's this, she channels this guy. He sounds like he's from England, from like the 1800s, maybe. It's Sandra Champlain. Listen to.
Doesn't sound familiar, but I'm usually busy doing, I do a lot of reading and writing to update the website. And I gotta have something to talk to all of you about, so I gotta be up to date on stuff. So, good. And I take it, it was enjoyable?
Yeah, I really like it, actually.
Good, good. Well, I hope you pop in again for some more.
I think I will.
Let me see here. Sharon, what are your thoughts?
Well, wait, I don't even know. I'm kind of overwhelmed a little bit by all of it.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not bad. It's just, well, he said he was probably a little harsh or something, but
That's just how he is. I
that's
just
how he
expect
is.
it.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I thought, like they tend to do, I don't know, they always make things sound so like they're so easy and that we can just, the flick of a finger, we can just change our mind and we can do something else and I don't see it quite that simplistic. If it was that simple, life wouldn't, things would be different, I think, if it was that simple. And I guess you have to know where you've been to know where you're going. If you, if, he said something about, well, just look out the window. And, if you don't like where you are, just look out the window. And I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what that meant,
That
but
would have to be a metaphor.
yeah, right.
It's like, if you wanna
Stop.
know what direction you're going in, look out the window, and if you don't like that direction,
Direction,
ask for guidance.
right,
Doesn't have to be someone from our realm.
correct. Yes, I do remember that. that. Yeah,
And he said Reverend Phil was a good one for guidance.
yes, yes, he did. He did say that.
And you have given us a lot of guidance over the.
He did say that.
Yes, he did.
I'm anxious to reread this again once it comes out because there was
Yeah,
a
if I'm
lot in there.
All my stuff is paraphrased.
And
notes I
yeah,
take.
I didn't take notes because I know I'll lose a lot of it in my notes, but I want to read it. I'm anxious to read it when you transcribe it.
When you said it's not just that easy to just, it is. It is actually that easy. However, getting to that point is not.
Yes. Yes.
It took me a number of years. And mind you, I had no clue as to who to ask. The people that I did ask questions of, they didn't know anything. They knew less than I did.
Yeah.
So I had to go elsewhere
Mhm.
to look for these solutions and everything. And carry on conversations. That's the thing. Go places and talk to people. You don't have to talk about your problems, but when you talk to people, things may click in your mind. And when they click in your mind, you have these, what they call aha moments. And I learned a lot from that. And the other thing I did is I paid attention to what people were doing. And then I asked stupid questions. What made you do that? Why do you think like that? You have to ask questions. I never ask why. I learned that. I learned that through reading something. Never ask why. Always start with what. Not why did you do that? It's what possessed you to do that. What motivated you to do that? Because why is so close to whine, it's hard to tell the difference.
Mhm.
But getting to that point, our baggage classes that we have periodically, that's to help you get to that point. Because before you can let go of something, we have a nasty habit. And I shouldn't say we have a nasty habit. We're conditioned to collect things. Not only do we collect material things, we collect emotional things, we collect mental things, we collect all sorts of things. George Carlin, stuff. We have all this stuff that we carry with us. And we go to these places and we leave some of our stuff with them. We go to a therapist so we can leave stuff there, not to figure out what this stuff is or why am I even carrying it? What purpose does this stuff serve? That's the right question. What purpose does this stuff serve? We never ask those questions. We just leave stuff here and there and there. And people start calling us toxic. I don't be around them, they're toxic. But yes, you have to get through there. I did not become this way overnight. Once I discovered that I was the one in control, once I discovered that I created this mess I was caught up in, when I discovered that, I set about fixing it. But before you can fix anything, you have to know that something's wrong, something's broke. So I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? Then I started asking, what can I do to make this better? And that's the trick. That's the trick. What can you do differently? And to learn not to hold on to that stuff. And if anybody is toxic, it's going to be you.
Found
Ooh,
it
I guess we went
interesting,
longer than
but
I thought.
that's kind of the extent of what I've got in my head right now.
Well, if you found it interesting, that's a big thing.
Okay.
Knowing you the way I do, if you found it interesting, that's a good thing. So, all right. Well, let's see. I usually hit Beth last, and she's always complaining, and I either hit her first or hit her last. So what are your thoughts, Beth?
You know, I can take being chastised.
You
That's
were
why I asked the
chastised?
questions. Oh, the old one, just chastised.
The old one.
Yeah.
Which one was the old one?
The Asian one.
The last one.
Oh, the
last
last one.
But it's nice to hear from the others, because you get different perspectives. There's different layers is what I picked up over there. And we just choose, we get to choose.
Yes,
So
yes, you get to choose.
So it's my calling about what I'm going to be or what I'm gonna progress to over there, and it's like you said, I'm in charge.
Yeah,
In charge.
yeah. It's like the Buddhists say, everything begins and ends with you. Or mind, but mind is you, so, yeah. Sandy, what are your thoughts?
Well, lots of thoughts. I probably am not understanding the concept of we create our own suffering. I do in some ways, but I don't understand it in other ways. So, and we don't have to get into that right now, but I do understand it from a certain point of view, but I imagine there's just a lot more to it that I just don't understand. So I will accept that. And um, it wasn't the last gentleman, but one of the earlier ones who said that you need to prepare your mansion with a lot of what you want to do and like to do, so that when you are there, you have something to do. So I kind of liked that, because it made me think of my grandmother, who just she loved life, but she just couldn't wait to get over it. She just couldn't wait, because she felt so limited in her physical body. So she just couldn't wait to get over. And it just made me think of her ability to be limitless and to be free of that, and to pursue all that she wanted to pursue once she was there, because it was just such a wonderful future and a wonderful vision. And so I never really thought about that, uh, about, you know, preparing your mansion, but I liked it. I really did. And I'm probably going to give that a lot of thought, because um I need to find out what I need to put there. So so I like that.
You know, when you said about the suffering, some of it you understood, some of it you didn't.
Mhm.
Start with what you understand and
Mhm,
then push the boundaries,
mhm, mhm. Okay.
because not all of it will make sense. It didn't make sense to me. I'm like you. What do you mean I'm responsible for my suffering? Oh, no. But it was when I chose to do something that I was not prepared to do. And the reason why is because I was always taught, if it's easy, then there's no purpose.
Mhm.
So I selected the hardest one and failed miserably. And then thankfully, the facilitator said, now go down to the other end and do the same thing. Done in a snap. So I'm sitting there thinking about it. Okay, Philip, what, not why, what is the difference between this and that? And well, let me see now here. The one, the cliff went outward. This one here was a gentle hill. That's not it. And then you chose, I said, wait a second. What did you just say? You chose, oh, I chose. That was my big turning point. That was my big turning point. Did all my problems, suffering per se, go away the next day? No. I had to retrain my thinking. I had to retrain my perspective. I had to redo everything. So that now I see, oh, when I'm starting to suffer, it's, all right, Philip, this isn't working. Time to do something different. So start with what you know and then push the boundaries. So how about you, Cindy? What are your thoughts?
I think you choose your circumstances before you come into the world.
You know, I was just reading about that this morning in Alan Kardec's book, and the question was about reincarnating. And the question was, you know, if you have a choice. No, you don't have a choice. It's part of the system. I said, wow, this is cool. Just like I'm teaching, it's part of the system. And then the question was, do they plan their lessons and everything? And it says, well, some do, some don't care.
And I think if you don't fulfill them, you have to learn them on the other side.
Or they kick you back over here.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what that particular spirit said. They don't get it here. You go over there, they don't get it there, they get recycled here. What is it that nature does very well? Recycles everything. Everything in nature is recycled. So why not us?
I think you also have a purpose. You come here with a purpose.
Yeah.
Mine was to be enlightened, and my aunt was to be a presence in other people's lives, and she really was. Everyone has a purpose.
That doesn't mean everybody should go off trying to figure out what their purpose is.
Yeah.
Because believe me, your purpose will find you. All right. I know we're running a little late, so